I'm in the tunnel this morning because I need to harvest lettuce. I only have a little bit in the house and I want to have a salad for dinner. It's best to harvest your lettuce first thing in the morning. Like really, I should have been out here earlier because it's starting to heat up in the tunnel. But it is what it is. I'll eat bitter lettuce because I eat it with copious amounts of ranch, so you don't really taste it anyway. I should have cut these quite a while ago. My microgreens are not micro anymore, they're just greens, but you can still eat them. So I'm gonna cut those two and throw them in. I just brought like just one little produce bag with me and I'll probably regret it. I eyed the basket and then I eyed this and I went with this, so we'll see. This is my first time growing Salanova lettuce and I'm super impressed by it. I read that a lot of people, like market farms or whatever, don't wait on the second cut. They just cut it like one time and that's it. This is literally the third cutting of this lettuce and it looks like there are a couple that are weird, but for the most part, it looks just as beautiful as it did the first cut. Which I'm really happy about because this seed compared to regular lettuce seed is super expensive. But in my opinion, I think it's worth it. I'm gonna throw this overgrown microgreens in here too. And even though this may be a tray of mild microgreens, as they age, and since it's been warm in the tunnel, they are definitely not mild. They're spicy, but it's fine. I came down to the big garden because I have been eyeballing this particular head of lettuce for days. It looks beautiful. This looks like a magazine, you guys. It might be really bitter because I haven't watered the lettuce back here enough, and lettuce in the summer needs tons of water, but it'll be fine. Is this not beautiful? Isn't this the most beautiful lettuce you've ever seen? I mean, I might be biased, but this looks magical. I originally got these seeds free from Baker Creek like a couple, 2-3 years ago. I think it's called Paris Island. I now buy this seed. I like it that much. It's one of my favorite. I like romaine the best, which really likes to grow in cool conditions, so this is probably super bitter because it's been hot, but it's fine. I like romaine lettuce because I like it to be crunchy. I hate like the buttery soft lettuces. That's not my jam. My jam is like crunchy. So if you like crunchy lettuce, I highly recommend because this is so good. It's finally pepper planting day. I feel like I'm so behind with peppers because it has been such a weird spring. So the temperatures have gone up and down a lot, which I guess isn't that weird for spring, but the nights have still been cold. But our forecast looks really good. I like to plant my peppers out when the nighttime temperatures are above 50 degrees. I know technically, if it's not freezing, they will be okay, but I think that it stunts them. And so I would rather wait a couple weeks, be a couple weeks behind, but my plants be more productive over the long term. So it's May 29th today, which might be one of the latest I've ever planted peppers. But we are getting at it today. Better late than never, huh? I do have a handful of plants in the high tunnel, maybe 10, 15. I can't remember how many I planted. So I will have peppers, just not like I'm gonna have peppers because I'm planting 500 pepper plants, which sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but here we come. I'm deciding to plant my peppers in different spaces. I'm gonna separate my hot peppers from my sweet peppers by a whole plot. So I'm gonna plant the hot peppers right here behind me, and then the sweet ones will be, actually it's over here. behind the slicers. So I want my kids to come out and enjoy and pick snacks, and I don't want them to get confused as to what's a hot pepper and sweet pepper and like traumatize them for the rest of forever. So I'm going to separate the hot and the sweet. I'm not growing just a whole lot of hot. I'm growing way more hot than I ever have before because we're not like a hot family. We like a mild, medium at best. But I am growing a few hot. For one, to sell, and for two, I want to make a batch of like hot salsa this year because I've only ever done just like sweet salsa, and I need a little spice. I also am growing some hot peppers to dry. Like I have cayenne, and I honestly think that the Sugar-ish peach would be really good this way too, but to dry and grind up as powder to use in the wintertime. I also am growing paprika in excess for the first time. I've always grown just a couple plants, but it was never enough to do anything with. So I hope that I have enough paprika plants. I probably have 15 plants, maybe more, so that I can dry my own paprika powder because I love paprika. So I grew all of my peppers in these 6-packs, thinking that I was gonna sell some, and I ended up not selling any of them. I kept them all to myself. But so this makes planting really easy because I can just pop them right out. Or I'm going to tell you how I plant my peppers and how I'm planting them differently than I have in the past. I'm planting on a 30-inch bed, and as you can see behind me, the holes are 18 inches apart and about the same distance between rows. And then how I'm going to hold them up, because peppers don't need the kind of support that tomatoes do, but they still need support, especially it's pretty windy here at any given day, any moment's time. So I don't want them to get heavy with fruit and fall over. I'm going to I'm either going to do them like the Florida weaving between the peppers to hold them up, or I'm just going to corral them by putting a string on the outside. I haven't figured out how, but that's how I'm going to support my peppers. I'm just gonna plant my peppers today, and then when I have another day, I'll come back through and top each of these holes off with like a handful of compost, and that should be pretty good. No. And since I really love saving seeds, I'm going to tag it around the stem with one of these tags that says the variety on it, because you think that you're gonna remember and you definitely don't. And so I want to know what the seeds are. I usually don't do a whole lot to protect the blossoms, like from cross-pollinating, but I might this year, since I have so many different varieties and I kind of want them to be the same variety next year that they are this year, but that's for another video. So here we are, we're planting peppers when you're not supposed to plant them in the heat of the day. And we got a little toasty. Went up to the house to check on the kids and got a brilliant idea. And we didn't think about it, we acted on it. And I've got a new addition. We bought a pool because, for one, I want my kids to have a magical summer. And I'm gonna be spending a lot of time here working. And I need to watch them. At the same time. So what better thing to do than bring the babysitter out to the garden? 2, doesn't it sound magical? Okay, imagine this. You're working all day, it's really hot. Jump in the pool. Can you hear my sales pitch to my husband? Because this is what I told him. Honestly, I don't really have to convince my husband of anything. He just, God love him, goes with all my ideas with minimal kickback. But yeah, we're the proud new owners of a 16 by 10 foot pool.
Is it cold?
Yeah, you better get in it. Come on. Okay, over
So the kids just got done swimming and they're going back to the house to dry off, and I can't stand not getting a task done. And while I finished planting the hot peppers, I did not get any sweet peppers done, which is gonna drive me insane. But I am gonna finish out this row with some tomatillos I have on hand, because I have extra room and the rest of this row is empty and they'll fit in here. So to be honest, I've never really grown tomatillos before. I grew a handful last year, but they didn't do well, and I think I maybe got 2 fruits off of like 4 plants. So this year I'm going a little bit harder. To be honest, I don't think I've ever really, besides the couple we got last year, I don't think I've ever had a tomatillo. I just felt like I should grow them because they sound good. So we'll see if I actually like them. This year will be the test, and if we don't like them, I won't grow them again. But I'm trying a different variety. So the same breeder that bred Dr. Witchy's yellow tomato also has a tomatillo called Dr. Witchy's tomatillo. So since I like the tomato version, I'm hoping that I like the tomatillo version. These honestly got a little leggy and tall, and I want to plant them deep, but I don't have my auger back here, and so I'm just gonna do my best. Okay, I'm doing my best, you guys. So I'm gonna finish planting out this row before I go back in the house. For one, it's beautiful out here. The sun went behind some clouds. There's a slight breeze. I'm alone. So I'm gonna take advantage of this time while I have it. Isn't this my lucky day? I have 19 holes left to be planted after I planted the tomatillos, and I have 19 random herbs that I could put in these 19 holes. That was just meant to be. So I will feel much better after the rest of this row is just complete. As for the random herbs that I have to plant here, I have some parsley. The reason I have these random herbs is because my idea when I had that seed starting class was I was gonna have an example, but I didn't really do it early enough, so they were still tiny. So now I have a bunch of random things to put in the garden. So I have flat leaf parsley, and I've been missing fresh parsley, so I'm really happy to have this. I have some oregano, 2 different kinds of basil, just like your regular Genovese, and then I have a purple basil, which smells delicious. Basil is like my favorite summer thing. And then this one random mint plant that I know I might regret putting here because mint never goes away, but I think growing it in this plastic like this, it'll be perfectly fine. You can see it's already trying to flower. It's just a little stressed in this container, if you can't tell. But what I'll do is just this. Ta-da! So that's how you extend your basil harvest, is just when you start to see this elongating like that, it means it's getting ready to shoot up a flower stem. And you can use the flowers, you can eat the flowers, but it does slightly change the taste of the basil. And so to keep it producing more leaves, I prune it. It's also better to prune it because it'll start sending off side branches and these armpits, and you'll have a bushier plant and not just like a tall, lanky one. So I'm gonna give you an example of why people tell you not to plant mint, lemon balm, anything in that family in your garden because they're bullies. For one, they have little tiny seeds and a bunch of seeds on a stem, so it's just gonna drop future volunteer plants. But also because, see, this mint started out over here and it grew tall and lanky because it was in this pot too long, and it kind of tipped over and started to touch the ground next to it. And if you look in here, whoop, see I'm pulling it out, anywhere that this mint touches the ground, it's gonna grow roots. So if I were to plant this in open ground, all of these are gonna grow up and they're gonna get long and tall and fall over and make roots, and it's just gonna spread everywhere and create more runners, which is why you could easily have mint take over a bed. But honestly, I can think of a lot of worse things than like free plants that take over, because that's what I want, to be honest. I want plants to take over. I would like one day to have like a jungle. I just want to like have a chair in the middle with like one of them outdoor bathtubs that you see on the internet, and I just want to live in there. I'm gonna have little bird baths. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but that's why they say mint is a bully. Now, I don't condone all bullying, but I do condone plant bullying. Now, doesn't that feel better to get it completed before you leave it? But I am going to go get the hose, and I'm not going to worry about setting up the sprinkler. I'm just going to use the hose, like the open end of the hose, to water, and I'm going to hold it over each plant for like 10 seconds, and that should be it. It's time for me to go up. I'm sure the little people are hungry and they need their leader to make dinner or something. But thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow. Don't know if it's actually your tomorrow or my tomorrow, whenever I get to editing it. But we're gonna do the same thing all over tomorrow. So, gotta get those peppers planted. I'm just really happy. This is the best. Seeing all of your hard work growing, actually. Like, I come out here every day and the tomatoes get a little bigger and the salad gets a little prettier. Love it. This is what it's all about. This is the beginning of summer, which is my happiest time of the year. Thank you guys for watching and hanging out with me today while I plant and buy my kids a pool and do any other of the random things that I did today. I'll be back again tomorrow. Until next time.